Hi, friends. I'm Jack here, host talking to trans people. In case you didn't hear, as for the title, C.S. Joseph's reasoning makes me vomit blood. Um, it may be like some sort of toxin that eats away at one's flesh. It could be, I don't know, a virulent disease, an epidemic of some sort. It could just be the incredible wrongness of somebody who just isn't very bright. But regardless, C.S. Joseph's reasoning makes me vomit blood. Read the book by John Beebe. He's the man. He knows everything. Is not a warrant for any conclusion that one has drawn. The reason why he is right is because he's taken his information from other people who are right. That's his justification. There's no actual warranting for why he's right or they're right. It doesn't seem necessary because they're experts according to him. He learned from his mentor and his mentor's mentor. So he must be right. Except, obviously, if you mentored C.S. Joseph into the miasma of wrongness that he currently manifests, then you aren't much of a mentor. You don't know how to teach, or you don't know how to choose students well. And I wouldn't put much faith in his mentors. As far as the people who wrote the books, well, I've offered specific direct critiques on those arguments and stuff and explained why they're wrong. So obviously he can't maintain those positions without ignoring the truth. What I'm saying, he can't maintain those positions without either ignoring my arguments entirely or just not justifying his position with anything worth any sort of anything. So, when it comes to a fairly toxic variety of wrongness, C.S. Joseph is sort of the poster boy, I guess. And the reason I started making this video with this title is because I watched Typology Gifts video that he made in which he excerpted CSJ, me, and Eric Thor. I thought it was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
I did too.
I was wrong when I said in that video that he excerpted, though, that C.S. Joseph is an ENTJ. I'm pretty sure C.S. Joseph is an ESTJ. And a particularly smirky and unpleasant one. I mean, a particularly undeservedly smirky one. If you're gonna be smirky, have something to smirk about, for God's sakes. What's he smirking about? Having his head up his ass?
He doesn't let you even type him. He doesn't let you. There's no there hasn't been a conversation between the two of you.
No,
right?
he won't talk to me. He won't,
so,
of course.
I mean,
he doesn't want me to embarrass him, and he knows he can't possibly hang.
Right.
That's the thing. At that point, you have a responsibility to say that. All right, look. Or possibly, pull a DSP.
Superpowers?
Yeah, agree to do one interview with me. Let the interview happen. Get burned a little bit, and then move on as though it never happened.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have even known that Dave Superpowers was interviewed by you.
Right, and because Dave Superpowers was not, sniping from the shadows and being totally unaccountable for what he says, I wasn't out for blood. So, it's like, did I school him a little bit in the interview? Yeah. Did I have my gloves on? Yeah, for sure. I didn't school the fuck out of him. Because he was at least, he had character. He didn't run from being challenged on shit. He didn't try to dismiss it with smirks and affectation and other symbols of, fucking poorly executed 8th slot symbols of FE or whatever. He just actually bit the bullet and had a conversation and sort of had to go, yeah, I guess I can't explain SI really. And that was fine. I mean, I'm not looking to crush people left and right for no reason. But you can't go around saying, I swing the biggest dick and then refuse to lay it on the table.
That's the thing. Well, exactly. And it's interesting. I'm not really sure. Some of it sounds like he has a mentor. He uses the word mentor, but he actually like read books, and that's where he got his information from. But there's no real mentor. He never mentions really a name. I mean, maybe the author that you're talking about was his mentor.
He suggests that he'd been mentored by a person and by that mentor's mentor. That's what he suggests. Does he explicitly state that? I don't know. I barely watched any of it. The reason I'm making this video tonight really is because I got to see a little bit more of his bad reasoning and typology gifts videos that I hadn't seen myself, I don't think. And I got to see him fucking justifying his methodology by appealing to the fact that he got it from an expert.
Right.
They got it from this book or this mentor or that mentor. I mean, the point is, it's not a justification for correctness. That's a justification for you not having to have to make a determination about correctness. See, I don't need to make a determination about correctness because I've got these experts and they're correct, and so I don't need to think. That's the only thing it's a justification for. It doesn't work as a justification for it actually being correct. That requires actual thinking.
Yeah.
So
exactly, BT.
Thank you for linking to Typology Gifts video there, Winston's mom.
Yeah, it was a good video.
Even though it had been linked to me in the live stream, I wouldn't have watched it had you not linked to it in the comment. I would have forgotten entirely about it. And so I appreciate that. I enjoyed watching it.
It's a good way of getting the posts to us too, I think, through the comments rather.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's surefire. Or a couple of sevens. Why King Krishna Sarma for good? But you just got here.
That was quick. Are you going to study?
Oh my gosh.
Are you done? What's going on with school?
The curry wagon's outside.
I would go too.
Ringing the curry bell.
I would go as well.
Garlic coin, which began as a joke. Garlic coin? I've never heard of garlic coin.
Neither.
Bye, KKSP. Oh, you hang out with Shreddy? Are you in Shreddy Scissoring? It's a King Krishna Shreddy Chandran Sarma Pagu scissor party.
With books all around. We started.
It's a Shreddy King Krishna Sarma Pagu Chandran Scissoring extravaganza.
Study session, yes.
A scissoring study session, right.
You better report back.
Yeah. So anyhow, let me do this thing that I need to do usually. I change this from top chat to live chat. There we go. So if anybody has any questions, comments, thoughts, complaints, concerns, queries, or other matters of meanity, then please present them for our mutual enjoyment.
That's funny, Jean Grey. Garlic coin is a new freshly baked cryptocurrency born from the shitpost of Reddit. It's funny.
There's a German word I want to hear Eric say. Not sure the way to spell it. It's funnier just phonetic it out. Hunkendunkon. 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 Hunkendunkon.
Hunkendunkon.
Hunkendunkon. I don't know. Das ist ein Hunkendunkon. Yeah, you can't touch it. It's an Hunkendunkon.
You're
Hunkendunkons. The title won't cause strikes or flags. I mean, why would it?
It shouldn't.
I said somebody's reasoning. not the person. Their reasoning caused me to vomit blood. It's clearly, literally true. Oh wait, no, it's not.
I'm like, oh my god, that happened and I didn't know.
Das ist verboten. Das ist unhunkendogen Danken. Das ist verboten. Take your Venus nipple down outside of here.
What is?
It's not allowed.
What does that mean?
Das ist verboten means
That's forbidden.
That's forbidden. Yes.
That's so. English is basically German.
You need to start in a straight line. Your rounded line shape is verboten. Everybody must obey the rules constantly. Because we're German. We're a bunch of Germans. We love the rules. You do that, and you do that, and everybody must obey.
Your mom was very proud telling me that you're German yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She was like, and he's German. I was like, yeah, I know.
Bambi lungs. Come on now. Rachel's lungs are manning up over the course of her stay here with me.
First of all, I lived in New York where smoking weed was illegal. So if I had it, I definitely would not be out of a bong because the bong is the most obvious way of smoking and the smelliest. So I don't give a fuck.
I beg to differ, Rachel. I'm going to say a joint is the smelliest. Although I will agree the bong is the most visually obvious.
Right. It has the most, actually probably blunt is the most stinky.
Smelliest. Actually, the absolute smelliest is cleaning your pipe with a blowtorch. That's
that resin?
It's even smellier than any smoking of any weed. I don't like those things. Those things are stupid and unnecessary. DSP stands for Day Superpowers. There is no reason to get a fancy device when a regular old bong, some regular old marijuana, and a lighter does a better job.
Mm-hmm.
And all the fancy pot smoking devices get you less high than smoking weed. Why would you do it? Makes no sense. All your vaporizers, even your dabs. It's like, if I'm gonna have a dab, why not just put a little bit of it on top of a bowl?
Oh my god, it's really good on top of a bowl.
Way better that way.
So good on top of a bowl.
There's no reason for any fancy devices. There's no reason for any fucking nonsense. No reason for vaporizing, atomizing, schmecking, any of that shit. Just pack a bowl and smoke it, for God's sake.
Oh, cool.
Put it on top of your bowl. You don't need a fucking rig for it. It's ridiculous.
That's a good. I mean, I dabs are a nice treat once in a while. That's how I feel. I don't think I wouldn't be able to do it. I wouldn't want to do it all the time.
They're not
it's not good for your
good
lungs.
for you. Yeah. Unlike weed is pretty good for your lungs. But dabs, probably, unless they're really expensive dabs and they're made with centrifugal, what's it called? Centrifuge, then you get a lot of like leftovers from the petroleum thing that's used to drag it out, you know?
Yeah.
So dabs are a little iffy. And they do jack up your tolerance. That is true as well. Also, I just don't like coughing that much. P Royal.
And I is our 11th house. That's an interesting notion. And E is the 5th house. It could be. And I know that 11th house is associated with Aquarius. And Aquarius is the universal, so it could be.
Aquarius is where I keep my fish. Oh wait, that's aquarium.
But actually, the pen that you were using to hold up the camera was from a place called Aquarius.
Why is Aquarius the universal? Why doesn't it have something to do with water?
It does.
I have the word aqua in it.
Because they're the water bearer.
Now, have everybody here heard about the superhero of tomorrow, Land Aquaman? Land Aquaman is like Aquaman, except on land. That's why he's Land Aquaman. And unlike Aquaman, who can only get fish and shit like that, and stingrays and whales and stuff, Land Aquaman can get all of your land animals, be they your squirrels, your mice, your rats, your elephants, your lions, your birds even. You don't need to have an air Aquaman. Land Aquaman is adequate because birds at some point land on the land. That's why they're the dominion of Land Aquaman. So the real question you should be asking yourself is, if I had the opportunity to choose to be Aquaman or Land Aquaman, which would I choose? And if you're a smart person like me, the answer is pretty clear. Land Aquaman. After all, you probably don't have gills, can't breathe underwater. If you were Aquaman, you'd drown.
That was like the most recent Marvel movie. Oh, no. Spider-Man was.
Also, if you're Aquaman, how cold are you going to get? Super cold.
And
Why?
slimy.
Because the water is cold compared to the outside land. It's cold under there.
It's like space.
So if you're not going to be cold, then what do you have to be? Super fat. So you have enough blubber to keep you warm. I don't think Aquaman does have gills. I think that the Aquaman who's actually Aquaman, he may have some sort of odd deformity in his lungs that allows him to pull oxygen out of water. But if you were to become Aquaman, you wouldn't have that deformity. So it would be really difficult for you. You'd have to constantly be going up to take a breath and going back down. Or you just probably stand on the shore and go, "Come here, fish." And, you get all the fish like that. It's like, just fucking hop in the back of the truck. I don't know. I hate being Aquaman. That's what
That's what he said to himself.
It's like all everybody ever expects from me is to get them free fish. Hey, we're having a fish fry this Friday, Aquaman. Oh, yeah? Yeah. And we were thinking maybe you could chip in, I don't know, the fish. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. Last time I did that, you know what happened when I got to the party? Everybody spent all of their time talking to the invisible boy and ignored me completely. They feasted on the fish, my former friends, who I lured to their death just to make these people happy, this party. And then they just ignore me. And they can't even see the guy they're paying attention to. He's the invisible boy. So fuck being Aquaman. From now on, I'm nothing but Land Aquaman. Okay, so moving on from the topic of Land Aquaman and Aquaman. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, queries, complaints?
Are people celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow? I know a lot of people are starting to not.
I call it Native American Atrocity Day. I celebrate it by remembering how my forefathers were massacred. Because I am Native American.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, I just saw this thing, Power Red Bull, earlier today, which was a video that somebody made that was basically excerpting me and Eric Thor and C.S. Joseph. And the first one he made is called Typology Gifts, and he's got his channel. And I watched it, and it was an entertaining video. But I got to see some random shit that C.S. Joseph said, and I was just like, oh my God, this fucking guy.
It was good, though, I have to say. It was good for me to see it, too. The way he dances around facts.
Right. Dances around facts. If C.S. Joseph, if they were going to make Dances with Wolves again, but starring C.S. Joseph, they call it Dances Around Facts.
I think that's going to be the movie.
They could still get Kevin Costner to play C.S. Joseph.
That's a great one. They have the same personality of Rock.
Yeah, which is, Well, no, I would say C.S. Joseph has a little more personality. It's
Than
just
Kevin Costner?
Yeah. I'd say that just the C.S. Joseph's, Kevin Costner doesn't have C.S. Joseph's level of snarky contempt.
True.
For example, I'd
This
say
is
C.S.
true.
Joseph's
Yeah.
got more snarky contempt than Kevin Costner.
Yeah. He does.
Less cause for snarky contempt, perhaps, but
Still.
more display of it.
Yeah. Costner's more laid back at least. But still, that's a good casting right there. I think it will.
Or I tell you what, we could cast Snidely Whiplash as C.S. Joseph. Does everybody know who Snidely Whiplash is? No? No? He is the villain in the old cartoon with the Mounties. I forget what it was called. Snidely Whiplash.
Dudley Do Right. I know that name. I don't know.
I don't remember. I remember what he looks like. He's got a. He's got one of these kind of mustaches, and he's like. He's a long pointy nosed guy like me, but extra.
Yeah.
Canadian Mounted Rockies. What was that? Was it Rocky and Bullwinkle? Was it from Rocky and Bullwinkle? Rocky and Bullwinkle was a weird cartoon. I liked it a lot as a kid.
Me too. I did too.
Really strange.
And it would break into things too, right? Because it wasn't just that show. It would break into like.
It had lots of little mini shows and stuff.
Yeah. What was it? That the dog and the Peabody and Sherman, right?
Right. And it also had
Really?
was Yogi Bear in there? Really? I don't think so. It did have that Mounties show though, the Mounties one, with the blonde chick and the Mountie with the apple bottom chin, and she was always getting tied on train tracks and by Snidely Whiplash.
Yep.
And
yes.
And I've come to rescue you.
And the woman, the tall woman, she had black hair.
That's the spy woman who was with the short Russian dude. She's the tall. That's the Russian chick, and the Russian dude. She's tall and black haired. He's short and kind of black haired, and they're always up to no good. But don't seem to really accomplish. I think that's Rocky and Bullwinkle's enemies.
Yes.
Watch me pull a rabbit out of this hat. Bullwinkle. Not again. He pulls something else out. Something other than a rabbit.
Yeah, always.
He never does seem to pull a rabbit out. Talk about getting expectations and realities confused. Captain Planet is a show I was unable to tolerate sitting through for even 5 seconds.
Gosh, it's so funny.
I think I was probably an adult when it came out. Dudley Do-Right is a dim-witted but conscientious and cheerful Canadian Mountie who is always trying to catch his nemesis Snidely Whiplash and rescue damsel in distress Nell Fenwick. Thank you for that.
Yeah, really.
That's excellent. Now I remember. His boss's daughter, with whom Dudley is deeply infatuated. He usually succeeds only by pure luck or through the actions of his horse named Horse.
It's so good.
As Nell's, a running gag throughout the series is Nell's great affection for Horse and her disregard for Dudley. In the standard intro, Dudley is seen mounted backward on his horse.
Yeah. I remember the intro.
A running gag is Nell's great affection for Horse and her disregard for Dudley.
That's so funny.
Because she's a lot smarter than him. And Nell's got a sound head on her shoulders, whereas Dudley Do-Right just has an apple chin.
Oh.
Apple chin will only get you so far in life.
Is that like apple bottom jeans?
It is. It's a lot like it. So, anyway, in further regards to the matter of C.S. Joseph and the provocation of blood vomiting that his poor reasoning provoked.
True.
In further regard to that, things I don't like. I'm going to title this little section right here. Things I don't like. I don't like it when people justify their position's correctness by telling you to read a book. if you can't explain to me why you're right, you're not right. You are pending. I mean, I like Eric Thorpe. I don't have any problem with him. He might not really like me. I've kind of been a dick to him a couple of times, sort of almost not intentionally. I don't know. You know how I am. I'm not very good at necessarily in the past anyway, especially. I'm better now, I think, because I feel, well, Rachel, you complete me. And now I'm whole and realized. And so everything's fine now. Or something like that.
Thanks, ESFJ, Eric.
You're welcome.
2 halves of a whole.
Rachel, you complete me.
I should have brought you flowers today.
This is sign language to make it extra poignant. You complete me.
I like that Dudley Do Right like started on your birthday in '69, but
Oh yeah. Huh. It did begin on my birthday, but 2 years before I was born.
Yep.
Einstein said, if you cannot explain it to a 6-year-old, then you do not understand yourself. I really agree with Einstein there. Not necessarily the 6-year-old part. If you can't explain it to me, you don't understand what you're talking about. If you can't explain it to me, you do not understand. Because I can understand things that are explained even reasonably well. You do not need to do a great job of explaining it to me for me to understand it. By and large, I understand explanations that make sense. If I don't understand it, it means your explanation doesn't make sense. If you have to tell me, well, go read the author, he can explain it a lot better than I can, then you don't really have any reason to believe that. You just are saying, I was convinced by this author and you would be too, but I don't have a position that I ought to be trying to convince you of because I don't understand it well enough. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I like Eric Thorpe. He seems to be a decent typologist. I think he's probably righter than most. I don't really have an updated past definitive judgment on him. I haven't tried to evaluate him for critique. I find his videos inoffensive. They don't bug me at all. So that's a plus. He seems like a nice guy. I inherently kind of like him because he is an INFJ. And some people try to dispute that, and I don't know why. It's pretty obvious to me he's an INFJ.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I
didn't get the sense that I got the sense that he likes you, actually, that it was like he has a respect for you. And that's why I don't know, he was nice at the end of it. He was like, and that's why I think C.S. Joseph was wrong. So I thought it was a nice gesture.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I feel, I guess, that I've made some social mistakes with him in the past, and that he probably, being an INFJ, remembers those, and probably does hold them against me. So, I mean, just assume it. I don't know. I had my own growth arc. You know, explaining it thus, if he were to hear this explanation, he might be like, I get you. You had your own growth arc too. I have my own growth arc. It's harder for us ENTPs to get FE down. It takes a while.
Yeah.
It's almost like we get FI down much more easily than FE because we don't really, we only study addition between 1-digit numbers. It's like that, it's like if you're doing FE, you're trying to go do the whole scope of math, and you go like, I'm not really very good at this. But when you're doing FI, you only have to learn addition, so it's fun.
Yeah, that's true. You only have to learn addition with the 5 for sure.
Because it's polar for me, so I don't really have to worry about understanding it. Sometimes I cry and sometimes I laugh, and that's about it. I feel
Rise and
those are more SI things, I think. Right. It can be an FI-SI combo thing.
True.
I could. Okay, I tell you what. Instead of vomiting blood, how about we all have a vaginal blood sploosh splash party?
Oh, that's even worse than vampire's blood or whatever. That's way worse.
A good title for this video would be C.S. Joseph's Reasoning is a Vaginal Blood Sploosh Splash Party.
I mean,
I like to sploosh, I like to splash, splash, sploosh, and splash, and all the time it's a vaginal blood sploosh splash party. All right, come and sploosh, and I'll go and splash. Deep inside the vagina, it's a vaginal blood sploosh splash party. Would you guys like to come to my vaginal blood sploosh splash party?
please. It's true, though. It really is.
I do get menstruation after watching CS.
But I do too.
I menstruate hilarity.
Yeah.
I menstruate my hilarious observations. My hilarious and good-hearted
It's
and
true.
well-intentioned observations.
Vampire blood color. What would you say mine are?
What color are the veins on my wrist? What you want to know? Are you collecting data on vein wrist color? I can't. That's not helping you. Putting it closer to the light doesn't help you see it better.
There you go.
Yeah. You can't really see it. It doesn't really have any color. Well, what do you think? What color is that? Gray?
He has gray veins. That's what
I'd
we
say
established.
it's grayish. Grayish, bluish.
So it's like
I don't know.
gray, yeah. Blue.
Just kind of gray,
It
really.
is gray.
Yeah.
On your left, yeah. On the right, it's more something else. N-E.
It kind of,
Probably.
I'd say there should be a color that's sort of pinkish, grayish, peachish, and it should be called scrotum.
That's the new Crayola.
It's the new
Color.
cereal. Or it's a new cereal, which was the new beige. Scrotum. Oh no, I didn't go with cereal. I painted my balls scrotum. You
Oh my God.
should
Yes.
see the lovely blend of pinkish, grayish, and peachish shades.
That's nice.
It makes my whole home feel alive with scrotal feelings. It's like a giant wriggling scrotum all around me.
Wow. What a place to be.
Yeah.
Your home is so warm looking. What's the color of your walls?
Thank you for asking. I went with scrotum.
Scrotum, that's the hottest color this year.
Call me trendy. Go ahead. Call me trendy. I went scrotum. Once you go scrotum, you never go broke. Wrote them down. Anything else?
You can't write them down on anything else, no?
Nope. Okay. So if you read any good feng shui book, it will have a chapter on using scrotum as a color in your home.
That's the only way that you know that it's good.
I bet your walls are moist with tiny hairs all over. Who wants to complete the other line of that poem? I bet your walls are moist with tiny hairs all over. Let's see. I bet your halls anoint my mighty Bear Oliver. Okay. I wonder what
Tommy Wiseau is. I don't know, but I've never seen that whole movie, but I've seen segments of it. I've read about it. I've read critiques to why people say it's the worst movie of all time. I've read interesting articles about it. I've never actually seen the movie.
I think he's the type that tries to make a movie that ends up being bad, but ends up being great as well. He seems like that type.
I mean, there's something anti-polarish about him, but it could be amphipolar. I mean, there's one kind of blindness there. It's like either he's not getting the fact that this isn't working, like on, you know. Of course, the thing is, it ultimately did work, but not for at all the reasons he wanted it to work for, or in the way he wanted it to work. So it worked as a pure example of a person whose aesthetic blindness is so astonishingly complete that they fail to see that their dog is a chicken. That's the best way to put it. I don't know how to put it.
No, that's exactly it. That is. If you've seen that movie, that's exactly what it is. He put all his money, all this stuff into this movie. He wrote it. He directed it, part of it. He hired like some crazy amount of crew. There was like so much money put into it. I mean, he was laughed about town.
The thing is, he wrote the script to it, right?
Yeah, the whole thing.
So that's the thing that's so it makes it so funny.
The acting.
Well, okay, but look what the actors were given to work with.
It was the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, how do you act those lines in any kind of way that's not that works?
God, it's so good.
The lines are so terrible.
They're so terrible, and like there's this like one special scene. There's like this old lady in the movie who's supposed to be like the mom of the girl that he's dating. She's in the movie for like maybe like 2 minutes, and there's no context. She's just like in the movie, and she has like 3 lines, and you're sitting there and you're like, who is this lady? What does she have to do with the movie? It just doesn't make any sense, but yep. You need help deciding a color for your walls. I heard that scrotum is actually going to be big color for walls.
2020, 2021, or scrotal years.
Pantone color 666.
Also, if you look in Chinese astrology, I believe 2020 is the year of the scrotum. It's one of those odd years. It's the one, you know how they have 12 normal animals. And
Yep.
They have that occasional leap animal, they call it.
Yes.
That's the scrotum.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. I know I scream really loud. You're the scrotum. It is. Thanks, GJ. Well, look, INTJ Women's video where? Here on Host Eric's channel or Lijo. Everyone check out Lijo's brilliant The Thing video that is so me and my mini obsessions. Red Sneaky, no wonder. No, an older woman, not Lijo. I don't know who Lijo is.
I'm pretty sure she's not.
Sneaky Dingaling, what room? Am I looking at a pharaoh and ball paint for a library guest room small space?
How about Mauve and Indian Summer?
Mauve and Indian Summer. You need to decide what you need to put on your walls, Ryan Harrison. You should make that decision. CKY, Winston's mom. Sean, Mike's TED Talk was the one that somehow sent me down the MBTI rabbit hole. Changed my life. Literally at a time when I needed it. Jean Grey, understand? This week, Eileen, 2 years. Ryan Harrison. The Thing was a great movie. I think John Carpenter is my favorite director. I have the same birthday, January 16th, as John Carpenter, but not the same year. I'll find your comment, Jean Grey, and reply. Waka, waka, waka.
Waka, 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 indeed.
You will for sure. The Thing, great movie. Kurt Russell, Hubba Hubba, James Arness, Giant Carrot, 1958 version, LOL. I had heard it was a great movie. I don't think I've ever seen it, so I can't actually judge. I just know that John Carpenter has the same birthday as me. That it.
Mike's TED Talk. Who is Mike?
Oh, Sean Mikes. That's a good question.
If you taught music, how might you approach the process differently when teaching a student with strong NIs compared to strong NE? I'd have to be process oriented with the NI person, with the NI student. I'm not sure how to go about doing that. With the ENTP, I want to teach him songwriting. The ENTP I'm currently working with. I've suggested it on a couple of occasions in the past, and I even sat down with him and gave him an assignment one time at the piano and said, "I want you to just do this." But he has to try it one time. He needs to have some SI realization of what I'm saying. He can't just. I need to sit down with him with more time and just him and me with the piano and make him do a couple things and make him realize that he's got plenty of ideational potential. His parents have been making him do music shit for his whole life, and they can't stand the fact that he's not precise enough because, of course, they're trying to get him to do no ideation. They're trying to get him to learn skills. What fucking torture for him? I've explained this to them, and they gave up on music for him for a little while ago, I guess. He doesn't really seem to be practicing any instruments now. So, well, why? Because he wasn't taught properly. If you have an NE Dom, they need to be taught to write songs, not to play songs. Now, they may decide to learn certain covers at some point, but they are best served to learn to play and sing along at the same time and not worry about being precise with learning the instrument. It's a means to ideate for an NE Dom. It is not a means to execute. It is not a means to whatever else people do it for. I don't know. So that's how music ought to be taught. I unfortunately was taught the wrong way. Everybody is, because who wants to teach music? It's always going to be like some TE person who's like, I've learned all these scales. Now you're going to learn all these scales. And it's just like,
Yes. Yep. It's so true. I had a music teacher like that in like grammar school, and she made us repetitively like do the recorder, and I was like, I'm done. Like, no. So I would just like not blow along with it. I would just like move my hands. Of course she caught me, but I was just like,
which types would benefit more from using psychedelics? Probably. I mean, the thing is, I don't really think anybody benefits that much from using psychedelics. I think that it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think that all the mystical nonsense associated with psychedelics, opening doors and all that kind of stuff, is mystical nonsense. And that real growth does not occur through drug use. It doesn't necessarily preclude growth, drug use. Obviously, I smoke a lot of weed. Rachel smokes a lot of weed.
Yep.
And I feel like we're both growing immensely in our relationship with each other. And finally being able to relax in our relationship.
Yeah.
You know, that's what it boils down to. It's like I'm no longer stressing about my significant other.
So nice.
It's so nice. And I consistently feel glad to be around her. She raises gladness rather than distress. It's a dramatic change for me, you know. I'm getting used to the fact that I don't have to worry about her being on a different page than me about us liking to play and stuff, you know. Yesterday, I guess, yesterday or today? No, it was today. Today, I worked a lot today. I worked on making a video, and I worked on some music stuff.
Yeah.
And then
Busy.
I worked with Jake Forrest, and then I had to drive to Pasadena, work with my debate student. Then we came back, and we had to run this errand, do the weed store, and basically, then we started this live show. So I've been busy all day. I don't really worry about, when I have to leave for work, I'm assuming that she's going to be cool with that because in the past, all my significant others have been fine with me working as many hours as I could work because they basically thought that was my first and foremost job. I got in trouble consistently or had conflict with them over doing what I considered work and they considered play, things like making videos or making music or whatever. In reality, Rachel understands that I have to do some outside work and it doesn't bother her. And she also seems to actually not only not be bothered by me doing the work that I like to do, but seems to actually like to see me being productive in that fashion. It doesn't resent it at all or belittle it or whatever everybody else always did. It's hard to get used to not looking over your shoulder. But I think we're both slowly getting used to it. Like, okay, Rachel's not trying to bust. She's not looking to get me. And I'm not looking to get her.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for things to be mad about. Zeb Gurganis says, which type is smartest? I mean, I could give my normal blah-de-blahs, but INTJ or INTP. They're about equivalent. Those are the two smart types. I'm not much for Disney. Oh, yeah, she has. Ryan Harrison, not much for Disney. Not a fan of the four sides of the mind, but since we have every function, wouldn't it seem to make sense we can more or less mimic other types? Well, I mean, you can mimic other types, sure. Like, a lot of people have videos where they imitate all the 16 types doing different things. One person imitating 16 different types. Of course, you can mimic their behaviors, but you can't actually use their attentional manners habitually as default attentional manners like they do.
No.
That doesn't work that way.
It's interesting that that's brought up because I, in college, did a play and I definitely acted as in like ESTJ. You just pull it out. You're not it. I wasn't it. It's just I was able to reach that.
Sean Ryan Barron says, I feed my NE student, I believe ENTP, random tunes just to see what he turns them into. He managed to adapt River Flows in You into a piano accordion duo that morphed into Drunken Saber music rap.
That's cool.
That is cool. I always felt the people I was with or wanted to be with were just trying to get rid of me. I didn't feel that. I felt like I was trying to work shit out, but it's like with Rachel, I don't feel like I'm trying to work shit out. I feel like I'm trying to stop trying to work shit out. It's like I've got all these bad habits, but take some getting used to the fact that we don't have to do that shit with each other. It's very easy. Everything between us is easy squeezy.
It is.
Ryan Harrison, let me tell you something. Find the right person and make it through your bad habits, then you'll see it had nothing to do with skills in some regard. If you're with the right person, you're on the same page and you're as compatible as we are, everything's a foregone conclusion.
I mean, it's a grateful thing. This is like, I feel blessed.
White functions aren't things you use. They're ways you be.
Yes.
Yeah, sneaky dingling. Well, NTPs all have some form of ADHD. ENTPs are probably more well equipped to handle the Adderall than INTPs, because I have a couple reasons, a couple things I think about it. It makes me a lot more SE, but it may make everybody more 8 slot in some sense. I don't know. Okay, so white is my sight. Now, sight, I can close my eyes, right? So I can see or not see. I can willfully choose to see or not see, correct? True. Okay, good. Now, what about hearing? If something's audible, you can't help but hear. You can't close your ears off, right? Correct? Okay. But why don't you think about attentional manners in a similar fashion? We have ways of willfully paying attention and ways of unconsciously or non-willfully paying attention. Unconsciously is a bad word. A better word would be intentionally, but non-willfully paying attention. In other words, it's not in our conscious attention, but we are managing matters by that attentional manner nevertheless. So the problem with your theory is you're saying that you can take the same sort of nuanced approach with a function that you are accustomed to willfully and consciously paying attention to, and that serves as a given value or slot, in your stack, and you can same sort of level of nuance and precision with a function that you have no experience with doing that with. You say, can you train yourself? Well, you need to remember there are a finite number of hours in the day, okay? And a finite number of days in a lifetime. So you're going to spend most of the hours of the day unavoidably either willfully attempting to attend in a non-natural way. Now, that willful attempt to attend in a non-natural way is already indicative very clearly of a couple of function values. The desire to do that, the thought that one might and should do that, or could do that, or would want to do that, is a very TENI frame. You're trying to reduce the particular and make it universal and blah, blah, blah. So if, in fact, you were able to do that, you'd just be demonstrating your dominant and tool function of TE and NI. You'd be an ENTJ for sure with SI polar. You'd just be displaying what you are. Nobody who's not an ENTJ would even dream of saying such a thing, because they'd understand that there are particularist elements that preclude one from manifesting a function that requires those particular elements to be instantiated without having those particular elements. Only an ENTJ or an ENFJ would think something so crazy. That's what it boils down to. So, potentially an ENTJ might attempt such a thing, blindly unaware of the fact that they're simply demonstrating TE and NI as the metaframe for themselves. But whatever, it doesn't matter. People do stupid shit. If you want to believe people can and should do that, is it possible to train yourself to be left-handed?
Yes.
Yeah? Is it possible for me to train myself to use FI a lot more? Yeah, I'm kind of doing it right now. But does that mean my FI is somehow more nuanced, or that I'm experiencing FI in the same sort of way that an FI Dom would? Never in a million billion years. It'll always be just more retarded FI. It's not going to be less retarded. It's not going to be doing it more makes it less retarded. It just means a greater quantity of my same level of retarded FI. So, yeah.
You want me to turn it off?
No, I want to have the Dorchy torch.
Shoot torch?
The Dorchy torch.
Oh.
The Dorchy torch. That is sometimes referred to. Or the Glorchy torch. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Right on. Right on. Manipulation. Stinky Poopy, why do you say manipulation? Without more clarification. And I doesn't necessarily want to use every function. I would say the utility aspect of things, using things, having them be teleologically defined in that fashion, is a TE thing. It's not a NI thing. NI is about relevance. There's a similarity to the vectors there, but there's a clear distinction as well. A zeitgeist of ideas. It has no TE, needs to make TE.
We've all been trying to figure that out since Mom.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't think it's something I do. It's something everybody has to do themselves about the channel. It's not something I do.
Strange. No, because I don't. Did I get it? Well, yeah, I did.
You got to subscribe and click the bell on my channel.
Yeah.
Then you'll receive notifications.
Yeah.
Nothing I do. It's something you have to do.
Okay, but also it's not only that. You do have to subscribe. So when you subscribe, hit the bell icon, hold it down, go up, and then it'll click it on it so that it's gray, and then you'll get the actual update on your phone that there's a live stream going on. So
Eric is SE, the total opposite of NI. I mean, I very much do have a lot of instrumental SE in play that as far as you see, I mean, it's like every time I come out here to NE, I've got to SE. I've got to make the decision to actually begin the live stream. And then I get to NE the whole time. I get to NETI. And that's fine. And that's easy. And you can see I don't really stay on topic. The topic here is supposed to be CS Joseph's reasoning causing me to vomit blood. But instead, I'm talking about how I use SE. We do that. You have to set your settings first so we can set the bell. For example, you are live streaming now and there is no notification. How do I set the bell? On the bell itself or what?
Okay, so I'm going to show you.
All right, well, let me go over here. Let me go to Mia. And then I'll go to Mia.
So,
it doesn't have a bell for me.
Interesting.
Well, because it's my own channel, I guess.
Okay. So.
Oh, right there, maybe. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
What are my email notifications of that? So, what do
I think
I don't see anything.
you have it correct, though. It says desktop notifications. Get notifications in
This
this
is
browser.
for which notifications I get, not for the channel's notification.
Oh.
You know?
You got to click the bell.
Well, where is the bell?
We'll see. Okay, go to like some YouTube. That isn't yours. Okay. See, go to the bell icon. And then hold it or click it, whatever. Click it, and then press all. See the top one, and that's how you get the notification of a live stream or a new update.
Okay, so is yours like that? Winston's mom? Right, I know that. I see that, Winston's mom. I just did that. Okay, so I don't know what I'm supposed, but I don't see anything else
you don't have to do. Yeah,
I think you're wrong about this, Winston's mom. I really don't think there's anything I can do on my end. I mean, it's not the truth that every type wants to use every function. Most people want to avoid using functions that they don't like. I want to avoid using TE, and I do successfully avoid using TE by doing shit stupidly all the time. I'm thinking about other shit. I'm not focusing on TE like I should be. That's how I do shit stupid. That's fine. And then I go, oh, you're an idiot again, Eric. No. You keep using this reification fallacy to explain yourself, which normally I would let slide, except it seems critical to your reasoning. The body doesn't want things. The mind doesn't want things. You want things. Functions don't want things. You want things. Wanting things is, if you're paying attention to it actively, is a kind of function.
Hi, Octavia Silva.
Hi, Octavia Silva. How are you? Are you 8 pieces of silver? Is that what your name means in Spanish? Octavio Silva. Does it mean 8 pieces of silver?
I don't
know. So let's see here. What are we talking about tonight?
Let's see what you look with my hair.
Want to look at your hair? I like your hair. Oh, I look good with this hair,
huh? Yeah.
I think there's probably not a clear universal on that point. Right? It depends on one's circumstances. The desire to integrate one's less native functions, I guess you could say, or one's less naturally fluent functions is sort of a first world thing, right? It's like you gotta have a lot of shit right in your life to really be able to grow in that fashion. So you're neglecting to factor in particular elements. And under stress, people want to go with what they can rely on when it feels like stakes are high all the time. You know, if stakes were high all the time around here, and Rachel were always feeling as though she were about to get her chops busted about something, then she'd probably be a lot more FE aware and not seem nearly as comfortable as she does, and be a lot more stuck in her 1-2, and less able to do her TI and her SE satisfaction, and just less happy, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
So for those people who are lucky in their situations and are in an ontologically safe environment where they are not subject to ontological assault, which is to say critiques of their person, nor are they subject to repeated behavioral critiques that are not legitimate, or even if they are legitimate, if they're too nitpicky. It's like when you're dealing with a non-toxic environment where nobody's trying to hurt somebody else or control of somebody else in the environment, and everybody's cool, then, and you feel also safe financially, and you feel like you're safe, then you have the opportunity to go, all right, what does my being yearn for? I don't feel any yearning to utilize functions in more equal balance with one another. There's no reason to think that a more equal balance of functions in terms of time spent attending to the functions anyway is desirable. So what I look for is, I guess, timing somewhat is when to SI, when to take a shower. Maybe I take it more often than I used to. When I'm tired and should go to bed, even though I could stay up.
I think I like going to bed when I feel tired. When I'm not tired, it's so difficult to fall asleep.
Why? There's presumption that being pushed is a good thing. That's incorrect. Look, I'm still here doing this live stream, still making shit. Like I said, I worked a little bit on music. I'm not sure if that particular thing is going to come into anything or not, but I don't need to be pushed to get shit done. I don't need to be pushed by necessity, for sure. The reality is, a good environment, meaning safe, that's not really subjective. Everybody wants to feel safe. They want to feel as though they can rely on the permanence of their situation to some extent, or at least to the extent they want to rely on its permanence. Everybody wants to feel as though they have some control over what happens to them, that they're not subject to. According to whom? For what purpose do you need to create certain habits? I mean, I don't do the work I do out of habit.
No way.
Yeah, I get paid by YouTube. Well, that's assuming you want to put things in a goal frame. There's no reason to put things in a goal frame, frankly. I enjoy and delight in the reality that I've achieved my goal, which is I can wake up most every day and decide what I feel like doing for much of the day. Now, what I feel like doing, the reason that's a good state of being for me is because I don't just feel like watching TV all day long. I don't just feel like whatever. I feel like doing a lot of things that actually make me happy. If I do feel like watching TV, it's because it actually makes me happy. Why shouldn't I want to do what actually makes me happy?
Yeah. So for some people, like you run 2 a day for a week or something, to run for 10 miles, that's their pleasure. That's why they suggest for people to do it.
If it makes them happy, they should do that.
And exactly.
A struggle, it depends what kind of thing you're working on. There are certain things, you're talking about physical reality, physical projects. Physical projects, struggle produces results. If you're talking about your body especially, no pain, no gain, fine. If you're talking about physical projects like building a thing, I struggled the fuck out of that chicken coop I made over in Laverne. It was a little house. It was a big house. I mean, no, big house. But it was definitely a big structure for me to make, okay? And like a sturdy house fucking structure thing. I did a pretty good job of it. But man, was it a struggle. I'll tell you that. It was definitely a struggle. Did it produce results? Yeah, I had to go redo lots of shit that I fucked up the first time because I'm an idiot. And then in the end, all that struggle produced good results.
okay, it was a waste of time, frankly, because I'm never gonna. Well, I mean, I'll use those skills at some point. I appreciate learning skills. It wasn't a waste of time. I'm glad I made the thing, but I never want to make it again. And
that's the best line. But I would never want to make it again.
And I got other things I make that I like making that are easy and that don't require struggle. I mean, sure, sometimes something that you work really hard on comes out a lot better because of all the extra work you put into it. And sometimes you fall into genius.
Yeah.
And something pops with 3 parts in it, and the mix just seems to fall into place, and you're just like, is this done already? You know, it's like sometimes that happens.
You do, yeah.
So you never know. If you're an NE Dom who's NI ignoring anyway, you never know. You always ignore what you know if you do know it.
Oh my god. I love you so much.
Did I ever smoke that cigarette?
No.
I think maybe I did, but I think I need to smoke another cigarette.
Oh, my sister has a question, actually. She got back to me.
Okay, cool.
She wanted to know if you've been to Castle's Burgers.
Castles?
Yeah.
Where is it? No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I've never heard of it.
She's probably looking at places.
Did you tell her we're in Arcadia?
No, I will.
Yeah, tell her we're in this is Pasadena area. Because there's lots of restaurants in Pasadena that are good and that's close to us. Or, you know, we could have her for barbecue here or something if she wants to come over here.
Okay. I'll throw it out there.
Yeah. We could get a turkey and tell her it's a peacock.
Oh my god. I don't even think she knows about the peacocks. She don't know about the peacocks. I'll tell her though. Eric said that we can.
Oh, my precious Rachel. I love you with
I
my
love you too.
I'm really excited that I might have an opportunity to meet Rachel's sister. That'd be
Me
cool.
too. I really am too. Yeah.
And hopefully, you know, make a good impression. I'll wear my suit and tie. I'll be like, good day, Mom. That's how you make a good impression.
That is a good impression. That is. I mean, that would be a first.
Please allow me to take your coat.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
If there's a single most delicious flavor of pudding, Rachel is that flavor.
Aww.
Some people might say tapioca. I wouldn't necessarily disagree.
Tapioca's good.
It is. It's good.
And that's an art to make. It's not exactly easy. It's a good one. That's what she said.
Well, I mean, why was the shift? Why would the type need to shift? Why? Because look, there are times when I'm in FI mode. In FI mode, frankly, I'm not really doing any NE. A little bit. I'm still coming up with new nicknames for her and stuff. But I'm mostly just being retarded FI. I'm not using FI as a tool function either. It's not utilitarian. It's in an alternate value slot. It's absolute value. It serves its own purpose. Okay, the main first function state is locked in place. So what switches out with the second? Is it the alternate deliberation function? You can't have an action function. You can't have an action function paired with anything other than a deliberation function. So the only thing it could shift out to be is fi, and that doesn't make any sense because it's fi for me is always functioning as an absolute value. The thing you're not accounting for, White, is that it goes absolute, instrumental, absolute, instrumental, absolute, instrumental, except the 4 or 5 is a little bit different. 4 goes, it depends on the aspect, but you're not accounting for that. No, White, you're wrong. You just throw random shit out there, and it doesn't work like that. You just want to disagree. You're one of those negationary Nellies who's always looking to establish that I'm wrong about something and trying to position yourself as the right one. Except you're not actually making any cogent arguments. You're just throwing random negations out there, seeing what sticks. You're not actually presenting a case of any sort. So, no.
My sister, she just got back to me. She says...
Okay, but why is it that way? And how is it that way? I mean, how do you account for the fact that it is, in fact, the case that 7-slot function is experienced as an absolute value by people, and then that doesn't change? Okay.
You're saying how it is?
You're saying how it is, but
all right.
What did your sister say?
Ha ha ha, that could be fun. I have to figure out what I'll be saying. I won't have a car, but depending on where you are, I think Uber might be okay.
Or you can go get her.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can pick her up, take her to her hotel or whatever. We don't really have room for her to stay here, but.
No. I think she's going for work, so she's gonna...
I know she wasn't requesting that. I don't know why.
I'll tell her that too, though.
No, but don't say it. Don't say it.
Okay.
Just say we'd be happy to pick you up from the airport and take you to your hotel or whatever. You know, whatever she needs. We're pretty free. Okay, well, look. The 2-3 work in conjunction with each other. So obviously right now we're having a combination TI-FE battle, right? You're trying to FE position yourself as TI superior or trying to TI position yourself as making some sort of point that needs to be established. But regardless, we're both using TI and FE right now. And NE probably. You may have some TE system you're trying to advocate for, but because you're trying to advocate for it, you're stuck using TI like anybody else. TI primarily because we're talking about ideas that are judged that way. I mean, that's the calculus that's appropriate to the circumstance. So it kind of doesn't even matter whether you are just not doing the TI correctly or whether you're just not a TI type or whatever. Its own TE system, man, then that means it validates against your feelings, FI, which links to TE. And so that's fine. I'm glad to know that you feel good about your system. But that doesn't make it anything that's of value to anybody else. That certainly doesn't make it a model that we ought to prefer. But why is its own TE framework? Why is it its own TE framework? And what does that mean? What does it mean to say that the mind's system is its own TE framework? I wish I could share screen on this thing. I have these things that I've been working on in GIMP, which are arrows that show 4 fields: internal metaphysical, external metaphysical, internal physical, external physical, and the function and how it moves across those fields.
That'd be great if you could toggle between like screens and stuff.
No, I'm not talking about access. I'm talking about the fact that functions necessarily integrate an individual and information in some regard. So it's like the fact is we're not always paying attention to things outside of us, nor are we always attending via TI or FI to things inside of us. Sometimes we're knowing things. They're already inside of us. They pop up unbidden, right? You don't seek out the knowledge. Occasionally you might seek out a specific memory. What is that guy's name? But you don't really do that with NI. I guess you do sort of, you go, I need to sit on this a bit. But regardless, there's not really it mostly happens automatically. And yet it's nevertheless a matter of attention because it explains how you be is different than how other people be. What's it run through the system in its own manner? What's it in this set of gobbledygook? No, you don't shift through info. You're right. Like I just explained. Okay, so take knowledge, for example. Knowledge mostly arises unbidden by you, correct? Yes, correct, obviously. No, but listen, answer the question. Is it in fact the case that knowledge mostly rises unbidden by you? Yes, it's correct.
Why?
There's not any disputing it. Maybe. You aren't serious. You are not a serious person, White. It does. I don't want you to concede for the point of argumentation. I want you to concede, in fact, it does. I want it to resolve this point right now. The point is, obviously, you can't switch knowledge functions if it arises unbidden in one form or the other. You can't train yourself to do that which is automatic.
Thunder.
It would naturally shift of its own volition. Metaframes don't have volitions. You're once again making a reification fallacy. They aren't people. They are agents. They do not have wants. They do not have volition. I don't know what type Epstein is. He's a fucking monster. Did he kill himself? I don't think so. I think somebody killed him.
Who?
I don't know.
Who?
Epstein. I don't think he killed himself. I think some shady shit with it. But I don't know. I wouldn't be absolutely shocked if it turned out he did kill himself.
Yeah, but those things, you're right. You're right, though. Because if Shifty is as Shifty does, so.
Well, why certain functions are more willful than others, depending on the slot and the type of function. You're asking how does one activate a function? Some functions it is impossible for you to conceive of how to activate them because you have no willful and intentional.
You hear?
No, I want to go. Yeah. But you just want to fight with me, right? I don't even want to fight with you anymore. You're not even fun to fight with. You're not making any progress at all. You still want to be like positioning yourself as some sort of, somebody who's got an equal set of ideas that's competing against mine, which is absurd. You don't have the foggiest clue of what you're. It's ridiculous. Like you keep shifting ground. Okay, well that didn't work. Let me try this thing. That's not indicative of what you're positioning yourself as tonally.
This is too good.
It's just not.
What's up, Andre Z? Good to see you. I feel like I haven't seen that name in a while. Hey, Mel Hughes. See if Joseph is probably an INFJ.
C.S. Joseph is almost certainly an ESTJ, although he might be an ENTJ.
It's just, it can't be concluded because if you don't talk to him and you don't test out the cognitive functions, like, how are you going to find out?
Right. But of course, C.S. Joseph would bury himself in a 100-foot deep hole before he would ever answer genealogy questions by me. He does not want to have his TI actually tested. That's too definitive. That's too decisive a thing. He does not want to have his SI and NE and whatever tested because those things are actually definitive tests. I'm like, it's bullshit.
They are definitive tests. I didn't want to take it either. I was scared. I did it anyway. It was good.
The thing is, what I see in Rachel most with her TI is the way that it plays out as a value of fairness. Fairness is very important to her. And
Yeah.
the nice thing is, because she's about metaphysical fairness, it's often not about the thing itself. It's about some gesture of equivalency.
Absolutely.
And I'm on the same page about that. If in fact I've not done adequate gestures of equivalency, then I'm ready to hop to and make them.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the fact that it's not actually about the specific thing, because
No.
sometimes it's like I'd rather trade equivalence than have exact equal. You know?
Right?
Like, for example, let's say I've chosen the restaurant 5 times in a row or something, and you're like, hey, it's my turn to choose the restaurant. And I'll be like, okay, well, how about you choose the movie because I really want this food right now. And then you'd be like, okay, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Just some nothing like that ever happened between us, but just a random example of how the equivalency would be fine for you. Whereas, say, an SI Dom wants what they want more. They want the particular thing they want. They're less concerned about the gesture of equivalency. You see anything in the chat we were reading, Rachel?
It says, White says, Rachel, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? Remember that conversation that we had?
Yeah, there's contradictory premises. Like saying, if something is both black and not black, then yeah. But that's a contradictory premises, so it's a meaningless statement.
I don't know. You tell me. Moderator. So I'm answering. I don't know. You tell me. Ooh, orange soda. I haven't tried that one yet. Like, obviously. Well, then, why do people say it as it's inconclusive?
No, because look, the question is, if it has been observed that a tree falls in the forest, otherwise how would we know it falls in the forest? But it's not been observed, then does it make a sound? I mean, the answer is, the problem is you have contradictory premises. Any conclusion derived from contradictory premises is valid but unsound. This is basic logic 101. I'm not avoiding it. Don't want to answer. I'm telling you, basic logic has an answer for this. You have contradictory premises, and in any instance where there's contradictory premises, any conclusion you derive from those will be valid but unsound. So, I mean, White, this is the problem I'm having with you. White, remember, if it has been observed that a tree falls in the forest, it must have been observed, otherwise we wouldn't know it falls. Okay. If it has been observed that a tree falls in the forest and it has not been observed, see, there's the problem. Whatever follows from that, you're only thinking about half of that question, half of those premises. Then it's been observed. So somebody was there to observe it. Okay, I'm sorry, you're wrong about this too, but wait, if you want to be right, then be right one of these times. Otherwise, you're going to just continue being wrong.
Orange soda, please.
Of course.
Another orange soda.
I poured it in here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't observing. It's good.
Right, but you only know that something falls if it's been observed that it's false, right? Now, you could say if a tree has apparently fallen because we see it on the ground, did it make a sound the night before when it fell? Now, that would be a better question. Perhaps you would at least make an attempt to avoid the contradictory premises. Wait, nothing's overloaded except the amount of shit coming out of your mouth.
I'm loving the storm right now.
I'm loving the storm too. Right, I'm not saying I don't want to use induction or I don't want to use NI. I'm saying if you want to have truths that are both synergistically true and deductively sound and valid, then you can't make stupid arguments like you make. Period. Sorry. That's how it is. We can do better than just NI gestures at approximate truths. You must be, I guess, TI countervaluing? ENTJ? I don't know. ESTJ?
That's a really good question. This is a good question.
When your Thanksgiving mom can't listen to a conflict in your life that inflicting it on herself, she is Effie? Definitely F.
Is she verbally inflicting on herself?
They're like, oh, I failed you.
Oh, I can't believe
I knew I didn't take you to karate classes when you were younger. Probably just FI then. That's like you're making the person feel bad because they care about you and they're putting themselves in your shoes. That's what FI people do. White, the reason I give you a definitive answer on it has much more to do with TI as a tool function than anything else. What I've determined is ESTPs and ENTPs from typing a bunch of people. Remember, I actually have a lot of data and experience and knowledge and stuff. Anyway, is that TI and tool function likes to give definitive answers. So I give the rooster chicken question. Is this a rooster or a chicken? The chicken changed sexes to become a rooster. Act like a rooster, blah, blah, blah. So the urge to give a definitive answer is a TI tool function process habit because they expect things to parse out on binaries like that. And they want things, it's like they want, that's right in their tool function. I want all the smoke. Not really. Everyone wants to chop me down. Winston's mom. People love chopping this wood. They keep breaking their hatchets on it though. They keep trying to chop.
The way that Eric explained that question is correct, and that's why I said I don't know.
There you have it.
Still an answer.
Yep. It's like 5 a.m. here. What's the time at your place? It's 7:25 p.m. in the evening time.
Ooh,
and it is raining.
It is.
From the sky. Water. So
I'm like sipping this like it's tea.
White, whatever type he is, regardless of what type he wants to be.
It's so windy here. A tree was knocked over. Did it make a sound?
I've noticed several empty profile pics, Host Eric, you being trolled. What do you mean? By whom?
I'm trying to figure.
Like, you mean White and Be Freaking? Or your Fancy Deluxe? Or do you mean, are there people commenting as Host Eric that aren't me? That's possible. I don't have an account called Host Eric. I just have TWFE account. What's the difference between fifth and sixth slot? I mean, am I as capable with my function my sixth versus fifth slot? Well, ultimately, you use your sixth slot function for the sort of to demonstrate it to the world when circumstances call upon you to do so. You expect to be asked to provide your sixth slot function to the world, but you don't apply it to your own life at all, basically. So it kind of piggybacks off your third slot function too. You're motivated to do your sixth slot function through your third slot mostly. That's what makes it external. And then the fifth slot you don't demonstrate it really at all for the world, or not very much. But at least that's not when it comes out, it's not for the purpose of demonstrating it. But you use it a lot in your own life, but you have trouble using it when in any kind of about your life. So, for example, I use it well in making media sometimes, but I rarely use it well in my own life. Like if I have to make if there's an NI thing, well, I use it like this. I'll drag my feet if I don't have an NI course that I'm happy with. If there's like 4 options and I'm not really happy with any of them, but one of them I've decided the best of the 4 options, I'll just drag my feet. It's like it's NI inadequate to me.
I know what you mean. Is Hambone in here? Why does he keep on saying moderator?
I've never heard that. Out of all the bad rep ISFJs get, that's the one thing I've never heard. What, ISFJs are lazy? ISFJs are lazy. They're totally lazy. I mean, it depends what you mean by lazy, I guess. The thing is, they expect to get 12 hours of sleep a night, maybe 13. Okay? They really need their rest. Now, note, in addition to those 12 to 13 hours of sleep, they're going to need time set aside for 3 full meals in the day that are sit-down meals, preferably.
True.
And they're going to need to have a clear accounting of what they got coming up in the day. If they're going to have a long day, they need to really mentally prepare themselves for the day before or the night before. They need to know exactly what's coming up, and then, they get their way through it. But then when they don't have to work, they watch a lot of TV, and they watch a lot of fairly banal TV. Things like, what's that guy's name? Dr. Phil. I don't know why I couldn't come up with his name for a second. Dr. Phil, and also Office, yes. Judge Judy, maybe. That's more ESFJ. Bachelor's a little more ESFJ. ISFJ includes all your homicide shows, like real life murder shows. Shows about the wife who married a murderer, who married this guy. Married a guy that she was sure was the guy of her dreams, but he turned out to be a psycho with a secret history in the past.
Yes. I have you're helping me.
That's a popular ISFJ kind of show.
Yeah, totally. I think I had a little bit of soap opera there, but it's definitely Lifetime. Lifetime movies are their shit. Not even Hallmark.
They also like period pieces.
Ooh.
If they're all dressed up in English costumes and saying "milady," then ISFJs eat that shit up. ISFJs watch Victoria. They'll watch your
Hey, Hamilton.
Pendark, whatever that name, whatever that show was. I was trying to.
What the
I
hell
want to
is
show you that
that?
fucking show.
What the hell is
I
that?
gotta show it to you.
Pendark?
It's just.
Is it
I
good?
gotta. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? It's a show about this. It's a PBS show, and it
good?
was about. I told you about it before. It was about this like Scottish royalty guy.
Oh yeah.
And he's an ISFP, I think. You know.
That's funny. So
Let's see.
funny.
PBS Scottish drama.
I'm out of the loop with the.
Period. Is it called Pendark? Poldark.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
All right. Let's see.
Can't wait to see this.
Yeah, this is it.
Oh wow, that's an ISFP.
Yeah, I say so. He returns home after the American Revolutionary War. He fought, I guess, for England in the American Revolutionary War. Returns home, and shit goes down, dog. Let me tell you, shit goes down. And people are saying old school talk like "milady" and shit. It's wonderful. White, there are no facts, only interpretations. Is that a fact?
Do ISFJs like reading?
Certain kinds of books. My mom loved reading. Victoria.
Yeah, I know that more, but I seem to know a lot of them that like to read. Like that's more of their thing than TV shows.
Yeah, my mom read shit tons.
The Irishman.
My friend Dave Porter, I would suspect, probably reads more than watches TV too. He's an ISFJ.
Cool.
But, you know, ain't nobody what?
Mm-hmm.
Which types like to troll? Eric, you should watch Money Heist.
Oh, that's the show that I was talking to you about with that it's Mexican. And they speak in Spanish. I mean, speak in English. There's no subtitles, but I don't mind it.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's pretty good.
Poldark. Thank you, Stinky Poopy. You were right. What are your favorite movies? I would say my favorite movies include Nightmare Before Christmas. I would say Empire Strikes Back. I would say there's been some I know for sure Infinity War.
Oh, Infinity War is great.
Infinity War is great.
So great.
Usual Suspects I haven't seen in a long ass time. I thought about saying that before I said Infinity War.
Oh yeah?
But I haven't seen it in such a long time. I thought I really shouldn't put it on my list because I don't really remember it that well. But it certainly did stick with me more than most movies.
It's a good movie.
Another movie that really stuck with me more than most movies was I don't remember the title. El Camino? No, it's called. Is it
El Camino Royale?
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino, yes.
Gran Torino really stuck with me.
That.
That was an intense movie.
I haven't seen that yet. And I would watch The Usual Suspects again.
I haven't seen Joker. I've seen Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting is a good movie.
York, I'm seeing a girl right now. I think she's an ENFP, but I'm not sure. You got an easy tip how to type her? Type her with your penis. Oh, yeah.
That's the best way.
That's right, baby. Tell her, listen, I'm gonna give you a personality test right now, okay? I want you to spread your legs, baby. I'm gonna test you with my testing rod. There's gonna be a little bit of a pinch here when I probe you. You're gonna feel maybe a little bit of a pushing sensation. Getting ready for my dominant function. Open up, baby. I'm putting my dominant function in your first slot.
Nice. That's a good one.
Yes, everyone's penis has a different MBTI type than their selves. It's true.
So wait, what about vaginas?
I would assume so, but yours is the only vagina I've typed so far.
What is it?
Well, I didn't want to tell you.
Oh no.
You got an ESFP vagina.
I knew it.
You did.
And your ESTP
Okay.
balls or penis?
Okay. I think I forgot what I said.
Yeah, I
before.
forgot too.
I need to retype them, obviously.
Yeah.
How does an any dom dick behave? Like any other penis, frankly. It urgently seeks the Queen of Portals. My Ace of Swords urgently seeks Rachel's Queen of Portals.
And the Queen of Portals feels mutual.
And the Ace of Swords rejoices upon being plunged into said portal. And the angels sing, Hallelujah. Yes, it's Ace of Swords.
Yes. We should have talked
That's
about
my
this.
name.
He
That's its
declared
name.
it on the channel.
Do you think the MBTI is valid? How much do you believe in it? Do I think the MBTI is valid? No, I mean, no, I guess I don't. I think MBTI gets some things right. I guess it doesn't try to explain cognitive functions, so it's not exactly wrong.
It's true.
How much do I believe in it? 4. I believe in it 4. No, I don't believe in it at all. I don't believe in things like that. I make affirmations. I make negations. Make claims. Negate claims. Those are things I do. I don't believe in things. At least not in ways that are relevant to what I'm saying. It doesn't matter whether I believe in something or not. What matters is, what is the affirmation I'm making? In other words, which claim am I stating? And if it's wrong, you get to be right and explain to me why it's wrong. And then I'll change my position to be equivalent to yours because you're right and I'm wrong. And I'd rather be right than wrong. Unfortunately, the chances of you actually doing that are 0.002.
He's right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to his words.
Thank you, Rachel. You're the best, my precious angel.
Love you.
Okay. Does anybody here want to make an after party live stream video about whatever and talk with me in the raw room? Not the raw room, but the autonomy room, which I'll get the link for right now. And make a video about something. I will be there for the next 5 or 10 minutes. If nobody shows up, I'll put the link to it right here. Control C makes for copy. And Control V makes for paste.
Thanks for putting yourself up there, babe.
Of course. I don't mind being wrong. I am wrong sometimes. But the people who come in here most determined to prove me wrong have the least ammunition consistently. Because they're not here because they've got actual thing they've encountered. They go, hey, you know what? I think he's wrong about this. They're coming in here and like, I'm going to throw a bunch of more random shit at the wall and hope I get him this tonight. It's like, No fucking way. Anyway, good night, everybody. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. And if
Yeah.
you do, eat twice as much cheese tomorrow.
Wait.